The second Saturday in December for high school football players across North Carolina. This is the day to deliver on a dream. The long road to a state title ends here. Raleigh, North Carolina, Carter Finley Stadium. It's the North Carolina High School Athletic Association State Championship presented by West Shore Home. The 1A title game. The two-time defending champion Tarboro Vikings take on the Mount Airy Granite Bears. And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Raleigh. Patrick Keenis alongside former ECU standout Jay Sonhalter. Sam Hyman down to the field will join us momentarily. You talk about tradition, Jay. 16 state titles combined between these two teams, but the connective tissue is that in 2017, the last appearance for Mount Airy, they took on Tarboro. Tarboro won that game. They played for a state title every year since.
Yeah, they've been a dominant program in the East, and both these teams have such outstanding tradition. They're built along the offense and defensive line. This is going to be a running game today. I'm excited to see both these teams clash because they've gone through the playoffs easily, and this is going to be a great matchup.
All right, so the Tarboro Vikings once beaten. They're 80-3 since that 2017 season, and they're taking on Mount Airy, the highest scoring, most prolific offense the state has seen this year. Let's talk about some of the key players and some of the key moments.
Well, one of their leaders is Tyler Mason. The 6', 190-pound junior has been dominant, 46 touchdowns on the year. He's a power player. He's gotten stronger each year he's been in the program. He can run in between the tackles, and he also has the speed out on the edges to take it deep. Over on the other side, for Tarboro, it's attained in a Mason Satterfield, the sophomore, and the freshman Cameron McDowell Moore. They've combined for 41 touchdowns. They keep the backfield fresh. Coach Jeff Craddock really trusts them, and these are young guys, 14 and 15 years old, and the team has relied on them to carry the way in the running game.
All right, let's get to our Ingles food for thought. Low prices, love the savings. What are the keys today, Jay?
For Mount Airy, defensive discipline. They're going against the Tarboro T. They have to make sure their alignment is correct, and they all play assignment football, and the special teams play is going to be important. They've been great all season long. Over for Tarboro, they don't want to give up the big play. Keep everything in front of you, going against the triple option, and then winning up front is going to be paramount.
All right, for more on the tether that connects these two programs, Mount Airy and Tarboro, going back 5 years. Let's go downstairs to the third member of our broadcast crew, Sam Hyman.
Hey, thanks so much, Patrick. The rematch, 2017, these two teams met in the state championship as well, and a lot of them had eyeballs on this game as youngsters. I had a chance to catch up with Mount Airy star quarterback Ian Gallimore, and he told me that that game didn't hurt, even though Mount Airy lost the game. The emotion that he saw on the players' faces he grew up idolizing did. On the flip side, Tarboro's running back Mason Satterfield was a ball boy for that 2017 state title game. I asked him, does that moment help you in terms of calming your nerves, knowing the situation? He said, no, even though I played in last year's game as well, I still will be nervous until I get that first carry of the game. When we come back, buckle up. The North Carolina High School Athletic Association State Championship, Class 1A. It's Tarboro and Mount Airy, and it's presented by West Shore Home.
Championship weekend moves from Chapel Hill to Raleigh. The 1A state championship now with Mount Airy and Tarboro. The 3A championship coming under the lights at Carter Finley later on tonight. Welcome back. Patrick Keenis, Jay Sonhalter. There is seeing the team captains shaking hands at midfield, ready for the coin toss. Tarboro, they've been here 6 straight times, Jay, 4-1 in their last 5 state title appearances. There they are in the familiar purple and yellow, and Mount Airy. Their opponents from the West, who they saw 5 years ago in 2017, that began this run. It's a chilly day here in Raleigh. What do you expect as these two teams reconnect here today?
Well, I expect a physical ball game. Each team is built along the line of scrimmages. They're going to run the ball as well. Each side, this moment, having it here in front of you, you've gone through this whole season. Each team has been dominant. And now all the goals, all that work you put into is here today. I expect them to play hard and have a lot of fun and play their best performance of the year.
All right, when you talk about the domination, the Tarboro Vikings are 80-3 in their last 83 games, going back to the beginning of that 2017 season. And the guy who's led the way now for his 19th season, there he is, Jeff Craddock. It's hard to win a game. It's hard to win a state championship. It's harder to do it basically every year over the last half of a decade. What makes this Viking program so successful?
It's his leadership, the tradition that he's built at this program and the players that come through. There's a lot of pride within this community in playing for Tarboro. And, it's been great getting to know Coach Craddock. It seems like every year we have that conference call with him in December getting ready for this ball game. And he's got a talented group and a group that's so disciplined.
All right, now for Mount Airy, you want to talk about tradition. They have ample of it as well. 7 state championships, but only 1 since 1969. They're led by J.K. Atkins. He replaced his wide receivers coach on this current team, Kelly Holder. His last game coaching as a head coach of the Granite Bears was in that championship game against Tarboro. And J.K. Atkins has done a whale of a job to get this program right back to where it's been so many times.
He's been outstanding, and what he's been able to do, just getting this program better and better to get him here today, it's been so impressive. And for his group, the maturation throughout the season, they've been playing their best football of the year throughout the playoffs.
All right, so Tarboro has won the coin toss. They will kick off, and there is the son of the head coach, ready to kick things off, Cole Craddock, with Mario Revels back for the Granite Bears. They're back playing for a state title for the first time in half a decade, underway in the 1A championship. And the kick is returnable from the 15 for the Granite Bears. Room up the far sideline, out near midfield. Excellent return for the Granite Bears. That's Tyler Mason. And the 1A championship will start right at midfield for Mount Airy.
Well, Mason's a star running back, and they use him on special teams, and he's a huge weapon, and that unit has been a plus for Mount Airy all throughout the year. A good start here to begin the game.
There's a look at the quarterback for Mount Airy. That's Ian Gilmore Jr., throwing for 1,028 yards. But this lefty has a terrific arm. Now, they do move the kickoff return back, evidently stepped out of bounds about the 44-yard line, so a return of almost 30. There's once beaten Granite Bear squad. The only loss, week 2 to East Surrey, and that is one of the top programs in the state. They have run the table since and really been unchallenged in the postseason. First play from scrimmage for Mount Airy. And room through the middle and just bringing down Tyler Mason for a big gain on first down. Mason's going to pick up about 15. Okay, let's take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by West Shore Home. West Shore Home, bringing happiness to every home.
They've got talent, the running backs and wide receivers, but up front, first play created a huge hole right in the middle of the offensive line. Landon Cox is the leader, but this is a big physical group up front for Mount Airy.
Well, this is the most explosive offense in the state, averaging better than 50 points a game. So Gallimore out of the gun, and he will keep it this time inside the 40. And a hand across his face as no flag came down, and Gallimore takes it to the 35 as we take a look at the starting defense for Tarboro. Again, brought to you by West Shore Home.
Speed at all 3 levels along the defensive line, linebacking core, and the secondary. Many of these guys for Tarboro, we'll see them playing on offense as well. But right in the middle of the defense, those linebackers are going to be key here today to stop the run.
West Shore Home, bringing happiness to every home. It's 50 degrees, a little breezy. But the two communities, Tarboro and Mount Airy, basically shut down, and everybody is here for this 1A state championship game. And carrying to about the 30-yard line. That's going to be enough for a first down for Gallimore and the Granite Bears.
For Gallimore leading the triple option offense, ball security is so important. He's been great throughout the year, protecting the football, limiting turnovers, and continuing drives and putting points on the board.
Well, there's a look at Gallimore. Only attempted 91 passes over the course of the year, but Tyler Mason in the backfield, 46 touchdowns, second most in the state. He's rushed for almost 2,200 yards. Mason, number 5. And this time they give off to the right side. It's Bruce Shipman down to about the 22. Shipman's first offensive touch of the time game.
Shipman, he's the power back. Good job going north and south. Look at the blocking up front. Outstanding. Getting movement, getting up to the second level.
All right, so Caleb Reed takes it for about 8. And it is second down and 2 for the Granite Bears. So far in the postseason for Mount Airy, they put up 72, 57, 49, and 35 twice under J.K. Atkins, an offensive new scheme implemented about a year and a half ago. And here is Reed once again breaking through. Takes a pretty good lick at the 15-yard line, but first down yardage again for the Granite Bears.
Well, the 1-2 punch of Tyler Mason and Caleb Reed. They have the speed and the power, and when Reed gets low, gets those legs moving, churning forward, he's so tough to bring down. Strong athlete, one of the best in the weight room for Mount Airy, and he's had an outstanding career.
And now inside the Talk It Out NC Red Zone. Talk it out. Start the conversation. Stop underage drinking. Granite Bears first possession of this title game into the 15-yard line of Tarboro. Little toss, left side. Mason stays on his feet, escapes up the sideline, and walks it in. 15-yard touchdown run. Tyler Mason, his 47th of the year, escaping and giving the Granite Bears a statement drive to open the championship game.
Well, determination for Mason. As a freshman, he was 160 pounds. Now as a junior, 190. That strength pays off running through the arm tackles. He's got such good vision. Let his offensive line set up on the left side and just ran around the edge. Great start for the Granite Bears to begin this game.
Walker Straub on for the extra point. Bangs it through. Well, Mount Airy, it's been 5 years since they've been here. A long road back, trying to exercise the demons against the Vikings. Perfect opening drive and a touchdown lead for the Granite Bears. Tyler Mason's 47th touchdown this season. An early lead for Mount Airy. 7-0 Granite Bears. We get ready for the NC 529 kickoff. NC 529, never too early or too late to start saving for your child's education. Could not have been a more pristine start for this one for the Granite Bears. If there were any nerves, we didn't see it. And here's the kickoff. And this will land and want to hop into the end zone for a touchback. So the Tarboro Vikings, there's a look at one of the young, and I do mean young stars for this Tarboro Viking squad. Cameron McDowell-Moore, freshman, carried for almost 1,300 yards, 21 scores. And this is a kid that they have been watching through middle school and waiting for an opportunity. And boy, did he run with it over the course of this year.
What a year. I mean, for him to come into the program and be this dominant, 14 years old, to have this opportunity.
And he was added to the varsity squad in week 3 and ran with the opportunity in one big defensive stop for Zach Goings of Mount Airy. We take a look at the starting lineup for the Tarboro offense, brought to you by West Shore Home.
Tarboro leading the way. Lewis, the quarterback, he's got experience in this ball game. Cole Craddock, outstanding blocker in the tight end position, as well as Sherrod. And then up front, the offensive line. They're going to have to be really good today, getting to the second level against a talented defensive line from the Granite Bears.
West Shore Home bringing happiness to every home. No gain on first down. A lot of movement inside the neutral zone. Flag comes down for the first time, and both teams pointed at one another. Granite Bears are indicating that they were drawn into the neutral zone. We'll get the call. It will go against Mount Airy. To the Mount Airy defense, brought to you by West Shore Home, Jay.
Right at the top of the list, Derek Dandy has offers from Virginia Tech and Appalachian State. The interior of this defensive line is big and outstanding second and third levels as well.
Well, there's Gallimore, the quarterback for the Granite Bears, sniffing out that little counter play to the right. And Tarboro's offense is going nowhere on 2 running plays. That is their forte.
He's the quarterback on offense and defense. Outstanding speed coming off the edge. to make the play.
There is an injured Viking down. And it looks like a potential leg injury here, and both teams are now walking over to the sideline. This looks like a potentially nasty injury here. And trying to get a sense of who that is down on the field. And that's Melvin Sherrod of Tarboro. His twin Nathan is on this team, and well, he is an extra coach on the field. When we were talking with Tarboro's head coach Jeff Craddock about what he means to this program over the years, this would be a cataclysmic loss for the Vikings today.
He loves them, and right now, tough emotions down on the field, and hopefully Melvin will be okay, but he's an important piece as far as his leadership goes, but his talent on the field on both sides for Tarboro.
And they're taking a look at that left leg. And Jeff Craddock actually coached Melvin Sherrod's dad years ago. He is up and not putting any weight on that left leg. I mean, so much of this program, and you see right there, senior, which means he's played in the last 3 state championship games for this Tarboro Vikings squad. And that is tough to see, especially, you know, the connections, the relationships with these communities and parents and kids. And Coach Craddock has known his father for years and years, and now you see his son hop off in what potentially will be his final game as a high school player. You just hope it's not a serious injury. We'll try and get an update as this first half wears on, but it does not look good for Sherrod. So he's on the sideline for the Vikings. It's 3rd down and a long 4. Toss goes left side. This is McDowell-Moore. Gets the edge and the first down. Not a lot else. Trying to make some moves, but he does move the chains here for the Vikings for the first time.
He's so good. And watch this move right here to get to the outside, that extra burst. Most running backs wouldn't be able to get to the edge. He has that quickness. He got around just enough for the first down.
Yeah, it's the vision. It's his bursting ability. Again, you mentioned only 14 years of age. Straight up the middle in between the tackles for about 3 on first down.
Ricky Babb, the offensive coordinator for Tarboro. They're not going to throw it a lot, but there's a lot of variation in their play calling, getting to the outside, and then also the interior running game going right up the middle.
Called a gain of 2. 5 minutes gone by, opening quarter. And here, bursting through, there is McDowell-Moore out near midfield. Gets out of a tackle and down to about the 43-yard line. 23-yard pickup for McDowell-Moore.
This is a staple for Tarboro. The counter, the fake initially over towards the right. McDowell-Moore comes back to the left. Offensive line clears the path for the freshman.
Yeah, that may give this Viking team a little extra bit of confidence. And again on the counter for about 3 this time. That's Mason Satterfield, the sophomore, for the first time. You wonder how Tarboro, how do they get the state championship game 6 straight years? The offensive line and a never-ending stable of running backs. And you're looking at the future of this Viking backfield for the next 3 years. Not much there on 2nd down.
Well, for these Tarboro players, the same with Mount Airy. You know, it's not like you just get to high school and, okay, I'm going to play football. They're wanting to be a running back. They're wanting to put on that helmet since the time they start playing football when they're a kid. This community funnels these players through the system to get to this point. And that's why there's always so many outstanding players, because these kids have dreamed about this, but also they put in the work once they get to high school.
Just past the midway mark of this opening quarter, there is a look at Omarion Lewis, who led this Viking team to a state championship last year as the quarterback. Trying to do it again. Play fake. They'll throw for the first time. They rarely do, and it's incomplete. Looking for Satterfield, wheeling out of the backfield up the right sideline. 4th down for the Vikings at about 7. And odds are we'll see the offense stay on the field here for Tarboro.
Credit Mario Revels, as we have an injury down. The defensive back was in position. Good job being disciplined.
That's Derek Dandy, and he is one of the outstanding leaders of this Mount Airy defense.
We talked about him with offers from Virginia Tech and Appalachian State, with more on the way. This is a tough sign with him being down, and they need his play along that front.
So they will treat him near the sideline for the Granite Bears. We've seen, again, all of these players are vital to their programs because the rosters simply aren't very big, but these are two of the absolute leaders on both sides with Melvin Sherrod and now Derek Dandy. But good news, he is up on his feet. We'll see how much pressure that he puts on his leg. Not a lot.
Coming out the field for the Granite Bears, number 32, Airy.
So that will give Jeff Craddock an opportunity to kind of concretize his decision. Will we go here from the 39-yard line or so, 4th and 7, or do we play field position and kick it away? And the offense will come back on the field for Tarboro. But we see Lewis, who will also act as the punter, stands in midfield. So punt formation, Lewis has it, and he will kick it away. And looks for a bounce and gets it. And the Vikings going to down this one inside the 5. This will roll to a halt inches from the goal line. Is Amari Lewis talented or is he talented? 99.5 yards away from Mount Airy with a 7-0 lead when we come back to the 1A title game.
Back to Carter Finley Stadium, joined by sales manager of West Shore Home, Jake Wirtz. And Jake, what is the importance of the relationship between West Shore Home and Friday Night Rivals?
I'll tell you, it's quite awesome to be here, first of all, and see the growth that happened throughout the year with these football players, coaches, cheerleaders, the families. It's electric in here, and we're just excited to be part of it.
And how about with the community? Why is it so important to have West Shore Home be a part of the community? Can you talk a little bit about that?
It's a great question. Our main goal is to bring happiness to every home, but you can't do that if you're not within your community. Bringing happiness to all the folks that are out here today, and just do our part to give back.
Thanks so much for your time and enjoy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Patrick, back to you.
A huge 3rd down reception. Mario Revels wheels it in on a long, delicate finesse pass from Ian Gallimore. And that's a pickup of almost 40 yards.
Clean pocket, perfect throw. I don't know if he had possession all the way down, but they're going to give it to him. Revels saw him play good on the back end on the defensive side and makes a play, wide receiver position.
For the Viking defense, that will be demoralizing. 2 big stops right at the goal line, forced a 3rd long, gave up a 31-yard pass play. And now back in the hands, Tyler Mason to the 40.
Tyler Mason takes the handoff.
J.K. Adkins, the head coach, he calls the offense for the Granite Bears. And they're going to keep the ball on the ground the majority of the time, but with Gallimore's arm strength, J.K. Adkins has confidence in the passing game when they have to go to it. We saw it on the 3rd down conversion. They go back to the running game and Kyle Mason. This offense, a lot of different guys have stepped up throughout the year.
J.K. Adkins has been waiting for this moment. As a matter of fact, his first high school coaching job was as a college student. He was a walk-on to the App State football program for a time, and as a junior, joined his former high school coach, Mike Probst, at Watauga High School. So he's been coaching for about 20 years now. This is his first opportunity as the head man to win a state championship, and off to a good start today.
I mean, Gallimore just brings so much to this team. We saw him make a play on the defensive side, being physical, strong, accurate throw 2 plays ago, and then running the ball. He just has that toughness, that mentality that you want in the leader of your team.
So there is a look at Ian Gallimore. And essentially all of the skill players on this Mount Airy team are juniors or younger. So not only are you looking at the top offense in the state, they're going to be here for a botched snap, and quickly diving on it to maintain possession is Gallimore. That snap a bit off target, almost looked like a bit of a surprise in when it was sent, and nearly turned it over.
Tarboro has been able to create turnovers at a high level this year, and they're almost able to jump on one more that would have been huge. It's the ball handling in the backfield, not there for Mount Airy.
Lost to 4. 7-0 lead for Mount Airy. coming. Toss Mason's way and cannot get out of the grips of Tarboro's Shamondra Clark.
Next injury, backfield by number 4.
A loss of 3 more.
Tarboro brought the blitz on the right side. The run went to the opposite side, but outstanding job by the secondary getting off the blocks on the perimeter.
Penalty marker did come in late. And it will compound the problem for Mount Airy. It is declined by Tarboro. Sets up 3rd down and about 17.
And the key now for the Tarboro defense, Andrew Harding, the defensive coordinator. Keep everything in front of you. Do not give up the big play. And J.K. Atkins, we'll see if they go back through the air, a screen play as well. 3rd and 17. It's going to be tough, but look for Revels, number 3. See where they move him. He has been playing in the slot, but he's the go-to guy in this situation.
Logan Fonville, the only real senior skill player on this team, is back on the field as well, wearing number 1, bottom of the screen. 3rd and very long. And they will give it off, and Tarboro was ready for it. Jamarian Dozier was not asleep with the wheel. 3rd and 17. They try to fake him out and give it to Mason, and Mason goes nowhere.
And Dozier made the first hit. Bruce Shipman, 25, came in as well to clean it up. And a good job just staying at home. Those 2 linebackers filling the gap, making the play. And that was a big response after you give up the 3rd down conversion from the defense to get off the field and now give your offense another opportunity.
All right, Strop will kick it away, hangs it, Knuckler. It's going to land at the 25, take a sideways Granite Bear bounce to the 22. 38 on the kick. And Tarboro's defense forcing a long field, gives up a long 3rd down conversion, but ultimately does force the punt. So the drive for the Vikings will begin at the 23-yard line. Get a signal of a flag here. And look at Jeff Craddock, wanting to get a little bit more of an explanation here. And now J.K. Atkins also wanting an explanation on this penalty. They have not moved the football yet, and here's the official call. It's going to be an illegal substitution penalty against Tarboro that is declined, and evidently Mount Airy happy with the result of the kick. They like the field position for their defense, and Tarboro goes on offense for the 2nd time. We were talking with Jeff Craddock, because all 4 of these coaches of the 2 games that we're going to see over the course of the next few hours, just such a joy for us to chat with and hear about their program. And when you talk about Jeff Craddock, all of the championships that he's won, and he's been able to keep this train on the tracks for state championship year after year after year, he feels a sense of obligation that not to disappoint his players. As the first down carry goes nowhere off the left side, meaning the expectations are what they are for this Viking program annually. But he feels leading up to the preparation of the state championship, he can't take a moment off because he feels like his players deserve it. Not wanting to take anything for granted, despite the fact they've now been here 6 straight years.
Well, they've had so many great seasons capped off with state championships, and he wants this year's team to have that same moment, that same feeling. And you're right, it's been so much fun getting to know these coaches, because you see their records, their programs from afar, but then once you get to know them, it just shows you why they're so good year in and year out, because of the people they are as well.
Handoff, this is McDowell Moore again through some traffic. Got a couple of yards. So far, Mount Airy's defense very well versed. This is not an easy offense to defend, because you have so many kind of points of, you need to stay very disciplined as far as what your assignments are, and they have not really let a Viking get loose yet. And that will take us to the end of the opening quarter. And Mount Airy striking early on a 15-yard touchdown run by Mason. A quarter into the 1A championship. Granite Bears by a touchdown. 1A state title game from the campus of NC State. Mount Airy leading the 2-time defending champion Tarboro Vikings 7-0. This is a 3rd down and 6 moment for the Vikings in the purple and yellow. Sprinting around the right side. Satterfield gets the corner. Angled out of bounds, and it will just be enough for a conversion and a 1st down for Tarboro. Let's go downstairs. A couple of injury updates with Sam.
Yeah, Patrick, first for Mount Airy, it's not looking good for Derek Dandy, unfortunately. He took his jersey off and his pads. I'm told it's an ankle injury, and he is not expected to return in this game. His face was pretty tough to watch, tears coming down his eyes. And then on the other side for Tarboro, Melvin Sherrod, he's got his knee wrapped in ice, but his pads are still on. I don't know officially when he will be back in the game, but those are the 2 updates, guys.
All right, thanks for being right on top of it. There's a look at Melvin Sherrod at the Tarboro sideline, trying to test out the strength of those legs. It looked like a nastier injury than maybe what it appears to be now. I'm surprised to see him on his feet. It's a very good sign for the Vikings. Tough news for Dandy and Mount Airy. Early stages, 2nd quarter, 7-0 Mount Airy. And we get a whistle and a penalty marker drop prior to the snap. And Jays, we have a little moment here. Let's assess what we saw in that 1st quarter. Tarboro likes to approach this as just another game because for them, it is just another game, just another state championship. How did Mount Airy handle the first 12 minutes and the first time back in 5 years?
Well, I think for Mount Airy, the sign that I've seen so far is the interior presence on defense. They're not giving up huge runs on the inside. Really, the runs they've given up have been out on the outside, and this is going to be a ball game of limited possessions. I mean, for Tarboro, we're in the 2nd quarter. This is only their 2nd possession, so you have to make the most of each chance when you have the ball.
From the 30-yard line, they're behind the chains again. 2nd and 12. They give to the right side. This is Christian Gunter. Can't turn the corner, and Gunter maybe for a yard. And again, the Mount Airy defense. There's Connor Burrell. And Burrell's been one of the real standouts on this linebacking core for Mount Airy this year. Makes the stop.
You know, J.K. Adkins just loves the way he's playing. His instincts. He's a senior, one of the leaders of the defense. He knows how to shoot a gap, make plays. He's all over the field, and just an important piece, this core defense with his toughness and making sure everyone's lined up.
Yeah, he just moved to the area a couple of years ago. Grew up in Pennsylvania. Dad took a new job with the company down in the Mount Airy area. And on 3rd down, short side of the field, not a lot of room for McDowell Moore. And Mount Airy is not giving an inch right now to this vaunted offense for Tarboro. Caleb Reed on that stop, and it's 4th down.
But the Granite Bears are getting the push, and they're not allowing to get pushed downfield, and they're just pushing the O-line back. There's nowhere to go. Now, the positive sign for Tarboro is I really like the speed and the quickness of their backs. If they can get to the edge, I think there's some big running plays to be had. The Mount Airy's clogging it up in the inside, and up front, Tarboro's just going to have to find a way to get some movement and try to get the running game to the 2nd level.
All right, so Marion Lewis kicking it away for the 2nd time for Tarboro. And a penalty marker dropped. This will be delay going against Tarboro. Well, we've seen the Vikings look cleaner, and we've seen them look more productive in these state championship games. But again, they knew this is going to be the toughest defense they've seen all year, bar none. They're quick, they're big. Tarboro's assets, the running game, and an outstanding offensive line for the Vikings. But right now, the defense is winning out so far for Mount Airy. We'll see what the adjustments occur. So after the penalty, Lewis, it gets deflected just off of his foot. How'd that get through? And will tumble over the 40-yard line to about the 43. There was contact on Lewis, but huge pressure came through up the middle. Is that Talon Smith? Or Cameron Webster? So a near block punt by Webster. An excellent field position awaits the Granite Bears when we come back, leading already by a touchdown. 7-0 lead for Mount Airy. 2nd quarter action of the 1A state championship game. Mount Airy on offense. They've run a couple of plays after that near blocked punt. And this is 3rd down and about 11 yards to go here for Mount Airy. with a 7-0 lead. Gallimore, the pitch. Mason, the angle, the cutback, and he's close. He will be a little bit short, but it's manageable on 4th down thanks to some patience and acceleration by Tyler Mason.
Great effort from Jamarian Smith, number 9 for Tarboro. It was just him on the outside, one-on-one. Otherwise, Mason would have run into the end zone. Now sets up a 4th and short. And I expect Mount Airy to go for it. It's still a big stop.
So there's a look at Mason. Had the first quarter rushing touchdown. 4th down, short 2. Could the Tarboro Viking defense get the stop they need? Gallimore runs it straight ahead, and I don't think he got there. Nor do the Vikings. They may have gotten the stop. Dozier walks it off, and Tarboro takes over.
Jeff Craddock's excited over on the sideline, pumping his fist because of this effort. Good job with the penetration right through the middle. Dozier read it as soon as the ball was snapped.
Not in the books as a turnover, but might as well be one. Jamarian Dozier, the junior, just knifing through, staying low, and his target in the crosshairs was Gallimore.
And you've got to trust your players and their instincts. And Jeff Craddock has a good one in Dozier. A couple times already today, we've called his name making plays. And that's what you ask in critical situations, your best players to step up.
Right here is Lewis. He's dancing. He's trying to set up a screen. Now he heaves it up for grabs. Dangerous pass, and it's picked off by Mount Airy. Mario Rebels. And Omarion Lewis, who is under pressure, knows this is a ball that does not need to be thrown.
And Revels just tracks it down, had the big pickup with the 3rd down conversion, and then comes away with an important play on the back end. Give his offense the ball back, and look at that pressure getting in the face of Lewis.
Boy, moments after the big defensive stand on 4th down by Tarboro's defense, they just recklessly give the football right back to Mount Airy. 6:39 left, first half. Mount Airy, after the first turnover of the game, has the football plus a touchdown lead. Coming up, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services halftime report, where we will have some special interviews. One with Q Tucker, the commissioner for the NCHSAA, sitting just to our right in the booth next door. Plus, first half highlights and more. ispot.nc.gov, your spot for COVID-19 protection. We are not used to seeing mistakes like we have just seen from Tarboro on that pass from Omarion Lewis. On a desperation first down pass play when he was under intense pressure. And right now, Mount Airy is getting the better of the Vikings. They look confident, they look controlled and poised in this state title game.
When the shifts of momentum is so important in a ball game like this, how do you respond to Mount Airy? You've got a 7-point lead, but if you can get a drive going here, potentially use a lot of clock, that would be a big boost. And they have to be very pleased with how they're running the football right now, averaging 5.8 yards per carry. They're doing it up front.
No gain on first down. Pressure coming, picked up, and now Gallimore hangs at the sideline, tipped away at the last moment, looking for Strop, or else that's probably a touchdown. And I think that was Nathan Sherrod, Melvin's twin brother, breaking that one up. Boy, how close was this to a touchdown?
The blitz comes, the offensive line picks it up.
That is a perfect pass.
Flipped it.
Just fingered away, and it's now 3rd down and 10 for Mount Airy. Tremaine McDaniels on the coverage saves the score. Blitz again by Tarboro. Felt by Gallimore. He'll toss incomplete. complete up the left side. First time the Tarboro has really gotten in the backfield and forced Gallimore to kind of audible on his way out of the pocket.
Zion Hyman, the junior, 6'2", 295 pounds, breathing down the neck of Gallimore. That's an important response from this defense. You have the turnover, then immediately 3 and out to give your offense the ball back.
That's really a character stop for Tarboro. When it looks like things are getting a little bit shaky, defense comes up, you make some big plays, get the big play in the defensive backfield by McDaniels. And he'll get the football right back. Strop on and kick it away, no pressure. And we'll take a Granite Bear bounce for about an extra 10 or 11 yards. So Tarboro's drive will begin at the 18 as we remind you at the conclusion of this 1A title game. We will be selecting the West Shore Home Player of the Game. West Shore Home, America's most admired home remodeling brand.
Well, good sign for Tarboro. The guy running out on the field, the last one out in the field, was none other than Melvin Sherrod. Earlier went out with the ankle injury. Doesn't look like he's at full speed, but still outstanding to have his presence back out on the field.
And what does that do for his teammates just to see him back on the field?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, his voice is so important in the locker room, out in the field, and just to have him out there fighting when you know he's not at full speed.
All right, so Tarboro begins this drive. 5:42 left in the first half. The Vikings have been shut out so far, down 7-0. Lewis tries to hit away and can't do it. Ripped down for a loss of 8 back at the 10-yard line. Just could not escape the hands of DJ Joyce, number 22. Lewis trying to atone for the mistake in his last possession and just would not be able to get out of the grasp of Joyce.
Phenomenal play by the freshman. He stayed at home. He was flying off that backside edge. He didn't bite on the play fake. Skating down the line of scrimmage, stayed in his gap, and Lewis kind of fell into his lap. And the freshman, who's been a big piece in his defense, makes a nice play there to make it, instead of 2nd and positive for Tarboro, now 2nd and 18.
I mean, Jay, how many times already in this first half have we seen negative plays on first down for the Tarboro offense?
And combine that with the penalties as well. I mean, in this type of ball game, when you're going against a team, and this goes for both teams, and you're going against a team that's near equal. Throughout the year, they've been blowing out teams. It's going to come down to penalties, turnovers, overcoming some adversity. Because remember, these guys, they've blown out teams in the playoffs. This is going to be really the first test they've had since early on in week 2, week 3 for each team.
3rd down and 12 for Tarboro. Trailing 7-0, and they just have not been able to really string 2 positive offensive plays together yet. And this is not the strength of the Vikings. 3rd down and 12 when they sometimes go weeks without throwing a pass. And we got a timeout taken at the 4:11 mark ahead of this very important late first half play for the Vikings.
Well, they may not throw it, but they do have some 3rd or 4th and long situation plays that they like to go to. One of them is the counter. We saw it early on in the first quarter. I'd watch for that here. But the big key is, especially on the interior of the offensive line for Tarboro, they have to make sure they seal up and get their pad level low, because this is a tough group on the inside for the Granite Bears. 3rd Floyd, 320 pounds, one of the starting defensive tackles, has been doing a nice job up front, just plugging the gaps.
Talk with J.K. Atkins, who was hired as the head coach in May of 2018 for this Granite Bears team. About when this year did you feel like this could be a special team that could get you back to play for a state championship? And he said, you know, it happened in our one loss this year, early in the season against East Surrey, a team with such storied tradition and returning a lot of guys, and they're able to fight through the tears, fight through the disappointment of losing a very competitive game. They were down a couple of scores, went for a 2-point conversion to try and tie late in the game, failed. But he said they showed me a lot in that game, and they have not lost since. And the ball got knocked away back around the 13-yard line and recovered. And it's going to get out 4th down.
This defense again, right place, the right time, getting off their blocks and just plugging things up. Ball comes loose.
Right on the sideline just before Mount Airy's Jonah Bilyeu got on it. Another fortunate break for Tarboro, but they will kick it away from deep in their own end.
Austin and Darren Taylor are the co-defensive coordinators. And they've got to be pleased with what they've been doing out in the field, Patrick. I mean, they've been slowing down this Tarboro offense. They're only giving up 2.6 yards on the ground. This is an offense that just gashes you.
All right, Lewis, a lot of pressure on his last punt. Gets this one away, but it checks up, and it's returnable from inside the 45-yard line. Make a move, swing to the outside. There goes Tyler Mason. Can he get the corner? Ripped down around the 15-yard line. 7-0 lead, and now a next drive for Mount Airy begins inside the red zone.
And they've been so good on special teams all throughout the year, and it's made an impact so far in this game. Mario Revels, number 3, the block, just a seal, and then Mason. Got to make a couple guys miss, and then you get to the outside and use your speed, a little stiff arm as well. But this offense set up with great field position.
3:52 left in the first half. Tyler Mason had the score early in the opening quarter. He sits up left of Gallimore in the backfield for the Granite Bears. And it will be Mason. There's room inside the 10 and dropped down around the 7-yard line.
On the stop, number 29.
Really good blocking up front. Good kick out by Cameron Webster, number 59. As Blake Hawks playing tight end, that kind of shoved his guy down. Then the kick out there created the gap.
Inside the Talk It Out NC red zone. Talk it out. Start the conversation. Stop underage drinking. Clock stops. 3:20 left first half. Timeout on the field. 7-0 lead for Mount Airy. And let's go back to that big punt return by Tyler Mason, because to me, I think that punt return is a byproduct of the other punt that was blocked, because it didn't look like Omari and Lewis really took his time. It was almost like a quick kick, anticipating pressure, and there wasn't much on it. It was a short line drive kick and led to a big return.
Well, and that pressure, or the threat of pressure, can affect things in a big way, and I agree with you. I mean, this ball was not kicked as...
I mean, he took a half
time,
step
yeah.
into
He wanted to get rid of it, and understandably so, off of that other previous attempt. And this is Mason, just so good when the ball's in his hands. He has that extra gear. He's already a great athlete, but when he has the ball, has an open area to run, he's going to make a couple guys miss, make a big play.
Well, this Mount Airy team, we talked a lot about Tarboro and what it's done on the state stage over the last half decade, playing for their 6th state title game in 6 years. This Mount Airy program has won 7 championships. The last one was in 2008. The other 6 were between 1935 and 1968. They'd like to get on the board here for the first time in about 15 years. And a hard count, and they may have drawn Tarboro offsides. And chalk that one up for Ian Gallimore. So it was 2nd and 4. And we'll see where they mark this one down to. Ball was spotted at around the 7-yard line. If it goes half distance to the goal line, it's going to be a first down. And they mark it to about the 3.5-yard line. It's going to set up first and goal. 3:20 left. And Mount Airy knocking on the door, a 2-touchdown lead on the 2-time champs. Gallimore. And Mason brought down after about a half-yard gain straight up the middle. Tell you what, Gallimore took a hit as well, driven back after the handoff. Vikings weren't sure who had the football, but they just smothered both.
Hey, well, the number one rule, if you don't know who has the ball, hit something. My coaches always used to say, just hit someone. Good job there, being physical. But now really, Mount Airy, if you can score here, that play could go to your advantage, because now you use more clock and leave Tarboro with less time.
2nd and goal. Mason and Reed in the backfield. Gallimore tosses. This is Reed, and he's angled out just short of the pylon. Brings up 3rd and goal. Mark him out right around the 2.
Hayden Bender, the junior, right tackle. Number 54, see him pulling, was battling right there, getting that extra push to allow Reed to get to the 1-yard line. So close, reaching the ball out.
So there's a look at Caleb Reed. throwback player in J.K. Atkins' words. Strong kid, downhill runner. 3rd and goal. Plenty of time on the play clock. And still waiting for the officials to kind of sort things out here. Ball for the moment is spotted at the 1. And they're going to add 7 seconds to the game clock. Looks like a microphone issue. He's not signaling offsides here. He just gestured to the press box, 2:32 on the clock, and now they have handled his wishes.
You know, this is an area of the field where you think, hey, Reed's going to get the football, and he's so good around the goal line. And interesting talking with J.K. Atkins. He said, you know, he's really going to be a better prospect as a linebacker at the college level, and he thinks offers are going to be coming in for him and his play on the defensive side as well.
Well, now it looks like J.K. Atkins is going to call a timeout here. 2:32 still on the clock. This is a big moment. Chance to go up 14 points on the 2-time defending champs. And if your defense gets a stop. Now, this is where Tarboro, at least mentally, even if you give up a score here, if they can go down, score points, they get the ball on the other side of halftime. So a 2-possession game could be erased, not easily, but potentially. As we take a look at the sideline for Mount Airy. A reminder coming up, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services halftime report. Q Tucker, commissioner of the NCHSAA, will join us. First half highlights and more. myspot.nc.gov, your spot for COVID-19 protection. Well, this has all been Mount Airy. They have dictated this game. The defense has set the tone, Jay, on first down plays. Tarboro has not had a chance to really marry 2 or 3 good plays together before things have backfired, in large part due to that man's defense.
Well, that's a great point. I mean, so many times it comes down to 3rd down conversions or getting off the field, but first down is so important. And they've had stops to force Tarboro into tough situations on 2nd and 3rd down. Then on first down, when they've had the ball, they've picked up positive gains and good play calling to get them moving the ball down the field.
Where do you go here? Do you go to Reed, your big fullback, the power guy? Or do you go to the guy who scored the 2nd most number of touchdowns in the state, number 5, Tyler Mason, 3rd and goal? It will be Mason, burrowing to the goal line, touchdown! Number 48 for number 5, Tyler Mason, and it's a 2-touchdown lead for Mount Airy.
59 yards on the day. A big special teams return. Mason, star so far of the game. Not a lot of room to run, but watch him just push the pile, churn his legs, fall forward. That late movement by the offensive line with the blocking up front. Hayden Bender and Spencer Baldwin, those two clearing the path for Mason to jump across.
Strop for the extra points, and it's 14-0 Mount Airy. I mean, you had the rushed punts, which yielded the long punt return inside the red zone. The penalty on 3rd down moved it to 1st and goal. And from there is academic for Mount Airy and its offense. 14-0 with 2:29 left in the first half.
Now for Tarboro, you need a response. You've got plenty of time here with 1 timeout. Try to get some points on the board before the halftime break. But how about Mason, what he's been able to do? Such a huge year with his ability to put points on the board for his team. But he's a talented guy that's got offers coming in at the college level as well. And Jeff Craddock bringing his team together to get the game plan going for this drive.
All right, let's go downstairs to Sam.
Yeah, you guys talked about the offensive line for Mount Airy a moment ago, and I asked quarterback Ian Gallimore, who's the biggest surprise on your team? And he said offensive lineman Spencer Baldwin. He said, my eyes widened when I saw how much he has grown this year. He moved here from Nebraska as a freshman in high school, and Ian told me that we just call him Nebraska. He didn't know his first name until last year. Coach Atkins said he was literally a baby giraffe his freshman year. Now he's 6'6", 240, and Coach said if he puts on another 30 pounds, he will be a college prospect. You can't miss him. He is legit up front for Mount Airy.
All right, thanks, Sam. 2:29 left in this opening half. Tarboro in desperate need of a big drive here before halftime. And this kickoff will go into the boundary. That'll give Tarboro its best field position of the game. Now let's talk about adversity. You don't think that a team that has won, 4 of the last 5 state championships, gone 80-3 in their last 83 games, would have faced a lot of adversity. But when we talked with Jeff Craddock a couple of days ago, he said, there was some friction, there were some issues internally when we brought up Satterfield, when we brought up the freshman McDowell more in terms of playing time and the touches and kind of the organizational chart of your running backs. So they've seen some moments. It said it took them a couple of weeks for the team to kind of get back on the same page and refocus in on your future goal at the end of the year. Outside of that, this is probably the most adverse situation they have seen all year. A little reversal on first down. They get it to the hands of the freshman McDowell Moore. Not a lot there, but at least positive yards on first down, maybe 2.
Well, you're right, and that was early on in the year. They did have those speed bumps, and they got through that. So that showed a lot of character to this team. Only 12 seniors for Tarboro. A lot of underclassmen and a lot of freshmen and sophomores. So the pipeline is full for Jeff Craddock. But they got through that early stretch at the one loss in a close ball game to Hertford County, 54-56. But after that game, they've been blowing people out, and they're going to have to find a way here to regroup.
Only one timeout remaining for Tarboro, and a penalty marker down. Looked like there's a little flinch on the right end of that offensive line. And right now the Vikings just can't quite get in sync. Seen a little bit of frustration visibly across the faces of some of these Tarboro players, and believe me, the Granite Bears noticed that.
That's going to be an area they're going to address at the halftime break. The 4th penalty so far, and it's affected the field position and just a down in distance on many of their drives.
Now what the Vikings need, one of these young backs to break off a big run. Is not it. A 3rd down and long situation again here for Tarboro as the clock ticks down toward 1 minute in this first half. Now the Granite Bears have a timeout left as well.
But they've got the timeout, and then also their special teams, what they've shown so far, ability to possibly get a return, or they've already had one punt that kind of partially got blocked.
Well, the approach here as the clock is winding down, I think Tarboro right now is just kind of hanging up the white flag saying, we're not going to take any unnecessary risk here. And going into halftime down a couple of scores and trying to recover, adjust, and another whistle blown prior to the snap. And we get a timeout just before the snap taken by Mount Airy. So I think if you're the Granite Bears, you're playing here for the punt block situation. If Tarboro is going to wind it down, J.K. Atkins is going to at least force you to kick. So 45 seconds left. It's a 14-0 lead for Mount Airy. But they have dictated play, the physicalness of this game, the front 4, the front 7 really for Mount Airy's defense has been absolutely impeccable so far today.
And all the factors that you look at to win a ball game, turnover battle. They got the 1 turnover. Penalties. They're winning in that facet, only 1 so far. And the line of scrimmage play, they've won up front on the offense and defensive lines. So they're going to be pleased with how they're playing. But again, they're going to have to come out here in the second half and do the same thing in order to get the victory.
Again, Tarboro gets the football coming on the other side of halftime. Well, this is a defense they have not seen in a couple of years that has been able to stifle and suffocate this Tarboro team, which has run roughshod across the state for a decade. So far in this first half of the title game. And there's the freshman Cameron McDowell Moore to almost the 40, but it's not close to a first down. Now Mount Airy can't stop the clock anymore. And Tarboro does not have to snap the football. Play clock is a couple of seconds north of the game clock, so they may just walk this one off and head to halftime. But this is uncharted territory in, about the last half decade for the Tarboro Vikings. Not only trailing in a state championship game, but their offense has been blanked and muzzled by Mount Airy. 24 minutes in the books, and how about the Granite Bears? Oozing with confidence, looking for their first state title in 14 years. Touchdowns by Tyler Mason. One early first quarter, one late second, and it's a 14-0 lead for Mount Airy.
They're winning in all three phases: offense, defense, special teams. All the momentum is on their side. You can tell just the way they're going into the halftime break, into the locker room. Everybody's sprinting off in a different mood over on the Tarboro sideline.
Well, that body language for Tarboro. There's some doubt for Tarboro. There's not a lot of doubt right now through a great first half for Mount Airy. Sam is with J.K. Atkins, head coach for the Granite Bears.
Coach, a very impressive first half for your team. What was your biggest takeaway in that first half?
I think defensively we played tremendous. We're getting the ball to the ground, playing the run well, which you have to do against those guys.
What are you going to tell your team in the locker room as far as growth, trying to improve on a certain area?
Yeah, I think we missed some opportunities offensively there. We're going to have to take a shot here or two down the field to slow these corners down. They're really trying to get to the perimeter run game.
Appreciate the time, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, Patrick, back to you.
All right, Mount Airy halfway home to their first state title in 14 years. The defense has led the way, stuffing Tarboro at every turn, and a couple of touchdowns for their outstanding back, Tyler Mason. Halftime of the 1A title game. Mount Airy 14, Tarboro nothing. A halftime show sponsored coming up.
Welcome to the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Halftime Report. myspot.nc.gov, your spot for COVID-19 protection.
Well, the vaunted defense of Mount Airy has held Tarboro to only 54 first half yards and a 14-0 lead at the break. Mount Airy over Tarboro. Patrick Keenis, Jay Sohnhalter up here in the booth. Sam Hyman down on the 49-degree field. And let's join an interview with one of our sponsors from Ingalls here at halftime.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Nelson Weston. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the high school state championship football games right here on Friday Night Rivals. Who better to join us than our good friend all the way from Ingalls Markets? Y'all know her, the famous Melissa Level. Melissa, how's it going, my friend?
So good to see you.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Happy football, happy championship weekend.
Happy football, happy championship weekend indeed. Melissa, it does raise the question, though. You guys have had a long-standing and proud sponsorship and support of the community for a long time now.
Right.
Why is this important to y'all?
Well, Ingalls is a corporation, but all of our stores are in the hearts of our communities.
Indeed.
So we are the beacon of those communities. So we support everyone in our stores, our customers, our schools, our first responders, our businesses. We are part of a community, not part of a big corporation. So this is just a very natural way for us to go. And believe it or not, a lot of the people that play in these games work in our stores.
Oh, yeah, that's super indeed.
Right?
Now, from what I gather, y'all have a terrific Tools for Schools program. For those who are unfamiliar, what exactly is that program? But more importantly, how can the good folks at home get involved and support it?
It's very simple to get involved with it. You have an Ingalls Advantage card. You go online and register that card to the school of your choice. Every time you shop at Ingalls, not only are you earning fuel points, but you're also earning points for your school that goes directly into the teacher's hands. And this works into the classrooms. It's not just athletics, it's mathematics and science and social studies. It provides supplies for the teachers, it supplies food and security elements, supplies continuing education opportunities. It is a true educational program.
That is outstanding. Melissa, all this talk about football and state championships, I don't know about you, but I'm getting so hungry right about now. Yeah. If I wanted to make a pit stop to, say, Ingalls, for example, on my way to one of the games, what are some of the most popular, delicious, and of course, mouth-watering items on the menu I can pick up?
I'm going to tell you, let's go to the wing bar. Okay, that's the absolute, okay, that's where we're going to start right there. Then we're going to stop and get a Boar's Head sub, and then on our way out in the car, we're going to grab a big bucket of fried chicken. Now, we are good?
That is magnificent work.
Thank
Melissa,
you.
on behalf of WLOS and, of course, on behalf of the entire community, thank you so much for y'all's proud and resounding sponsorship.
We love our partnership with you, too.
We cannot do this without y'all. Again, Tom Brady might be be the GOAT of football, but I tell you something right now, Ingles is undeniably the GOAT when it comes to proud community sponsorships. I'm ready for some more football.
I'm ready too.
We know y'all are ready for some more football, so without further ado, let's get ready for football!
Welcome to the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Halftime Report. myspot.nc.gov, your spot for COVID-19 protection.
Here with North Carolina High School Athletic Association Commissioner Q Tucker. Commissioner Tucker, we appreciate your time. We're looking forward to great games this weekend.
Absolutely. And thank you guys so much for this opportunity to be able to just talk about our championships.
How exciting is it for you to get to this point of the football season?
You know, the last couple of years, once COVID hit, everything was, up in the air. We didn't know whether or not we would be able to have a complete season in some instances. And so just to get to this point is pretty exciting.
Well, and there's many familiar teams in this year's state championship games. What do you think makes these teams so successful year in and year out?
One, it's the dedication of your head coach. It really starts at the top. That coach's philosophy, how they choose to conduct their off season, how they choose to approach the season once it begins. And I think another factor has to do with the community buy-in to those programs.
What's been the biggest challenge for the association in the last year?
Well, obviously the officiating challenge has been very, very real. When our football regional supervisors met early on in the season and talked about the numbers. Some were very, very concerned that they would not have the numbers to be able to put a crew on the field. And I want to give our officials a lot of credit. I'm not aware of any games that were never played or had to be changed because they, one, didn't have any officials, or two, officials did not show up. And so that's a credit to those officials who did commit to working in our program. And our regional supervisors also are to be commended for their creativity and trying to work with athletic directors and head coaches to get those games scheduled.
What are you most proud of as an association accomplishing this year?
I am just delighted with the principals and athletic directors for their work in those leadership roles. And then I'm just delighted with the work that our coaches have done. They've overcome a lot in this fall season. I just think hats off to the people who work in our schools. They're doing a lot to help young people be prepared to be the citizens that we want them to be once they pass through those halls and get that high school diploma, that they are positioned to do great things.
We appreciate your time, Commissioner Tucker, and thank you for your leadership this season.
Thank you so very much, and we appreciate what you guys do to spread the word and the message of education-based athletics.
The new COVID-19 boosters are safe and even more effective. We know that the COVID-19 virus continues to change over time as it continues to spread in our country and around the world. The new boosters give us all better protection against the COVID strains of the virus that we now see in our communities. You have a spot. Take your shot.
Stay protected against COVID-19. Find the updated booster at myspot.nc.gov.
Welcome to the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Halftime Report. myspot.nc.gov, your spot for COVID-19 protection.
Halftime score of the 1A state title game finds Mount Airy leading the two-time defending champion Tarboro Vikings 14-0. We roll on with a word from Dr. Charlene Wong, the Assistant Secretary for Children and Families at the NCHSAA.
it's time for the MySpot Medical Timeout, your spot for COVID-19 protection. With us today is Dr. Charlene Wong, Assistant Secretary for Children and Families at NCHSAA.
The new COVID-19 boosters are safe and even more effective against the types of COVID-19 that we now see in our communities. The boosters, just like the original vaccines, have gone through rigorous clinical trials to make sure that they're number one, safe, and number two, importantly, effective. These COVID-19 updated boosters take into account some of these newer strains that we've been seeing in the country and give us stronger protection. If you test positive for COVID-19, it's really important that you stay away from others to not spread the virus. You can go onto our website at myspot.nc.gov/find treatment to also find sites where you can get tested and treated all in one spot, and you can do that even if you have no health insurance.
All right, 14-0. Look at the Mount Airy fans in attendance. And Jay, they've had a very enjoyable first 24 minutes. You can take a look at some first half highlights.
Yeah, it's looked well for their team. They've done a lot of good things in all three phases. It started off running the football. Kyle Mason, first drive, ran it down the field, ends with a touchdown. But he was showing his talent early on, the vision, the quickness, the speed, and the power. Early on, 7-0, Granite Bears.
12 carries, 58 yards in the first half for Tyler Mason. The Tarboro defense did what it could, but offensively, some mistakes in the first half.
Yeah, and Mario Revels with his 5th interception on the year comes down with it. The offense gets the ball back, and Tarboro again on special teams. Giving up a play here is Mason again, making his impact felt. The third phase, nice job setting up the offense. 3.5 minutes left in the second quarter. The offense had it right inside the 18-yard line, and he was able to bring it in. Nice blocking up front for another touchdown.
A late first half score to double the lead, 14-0. Look at the first half stats. What sticks out, 54 total yards for Tarboro in the first half.
Yeah, they're only averaging 2.6 yards per carry, so that's been the biggest difference is Mount Airy's ability to run the ball, and also they've been great on special teams. And this ball game, 14-0, still another half, a lot of time left, but Mount Airy is in the driver's seat.
Unfamiliar position for Tarboro. We will hear from Vikings head coach Jeff Craddock when we come back. And the start of the third quarter, 14-0, Mount Airy on top of Tarboro, halfway to a 1A state championship. Well, ready to begin the second half. Is there a rally for the two-time defending champs? Mount Airy 14, Tarboro 0. Patrick Keenis, Jay Sohnhalter upstairs. Sam Hyman a moment ago had a chance to catch up with the Tarboro head coach, Jeff Craddock. Sam, what did he have to say?
It's the biggest takeaway from the first half. He said Mount Airy straight up dominated the line of scrimmage. We have to change that. And then I said, what was your message to the team in the locker room? He said, no matter how this game goes, we have to stay together. Too many missed handoffs offensively and too many penalties. If we clean those things up, he said, we will be right back in this game. Guys?
All right, thanks a lot, Sam. Well, we saw the body language. We saw the mistakes for Tarboro in the first half. Where does that spark come from? Turnover, special teams, something else?
Well, I think both. I mean, I think they need a big play, somebody to create a spark through the running game. And also on the special teams, this would be a great way here, this return.
All right, returnable kick for the Vikings. 25, close to the 30-yard line. Javarian Dozier on the return for Tarboro. All right, let's go back to the first half. First down offense for Tarboro was far below expectations. I mean, they're behind the chains almost every drive. They had 3 first downs the entire half. They normally have 3 first downs in the first drive of any game this year, but not situation today against this Mount Airy.
And too many penalties, especially on first down, created tough situations where they weren't able to come back from that. And Cameron McDowell Moore, pretty good first half, only the 8 carries. They didn't have a lot of opportunities on offense with the way they run the ball and use the clock, and same with Mount Airy. Limited possessions, but I think it's going to be important here on this drive to have a response.
Whistle before the opening snap, and it looks like a timeout has been taken by Tarboro. Is that the signal? Well, there's a timeout potentially taken here by Tarboro. We're getting clarification. That was the signal by one of the officials right around the 50-yard line. But if you're looking for togetherness and to come out of the locker room after a kickoff return, and a timeout is 4 seconds in, there are issues. And that is the call, a timeout taken by Tarboro. What did you see?
Well, it looks like Jeff Craddock sent his team back out
There's
on
no
the field.
timeout on the field.
There's a very succinct explanation.
So, I mean, that's positive for Tarboro because you don't want to use it there, but...
Well, one of the things you mentioned during halftime off the air, you would like to see Tarboro work further this offense to the wider side of the field, which we did not see a lot of in the first half.
And they have the quickness edge out on the perimeter.
Let's see if they go. They go straight up the middle on first down. And maybe a yard. Stiff defense slowing down Mason Satterfield. Satterfield, again, one of those call-ups. Coach Craddock has known Satterfield since he's about 5 years old because he's best buddies with Jeff Craddock's son, Cole, who was on this football team here for Tarboro. Satterfield has come over and swam at his pool at the house, hangs with his son. They are best friends. His goal was to become a starter for this program, and he's doing just that as a sophomore. Second down and 8. This is again to the right side. This is Tremaine McDaniels. Didn't see a whole lot of him in the backfield the first half. And he tried to angle to his right, maybe got a yard.
Well, Jeff Craddock told us the strength of his team is the offensive line. So he's got a lot of confidence in them now. He's going against a great group. They're only giving up 9 points per game on the defensive side, Mount Airy. So he's just got to lean on the group, the 5 up front, to get some push, get something going. And to your point, at some point, I think they've got to get it out to the edge more where they can use their quickness. But then it's going to come down to your tackles making a block as well as your wide receivers on the perimeter.
Well, again, how many times we said this today? Third down and long for Tarboro. Man in motion for the first time. And this is sprint out, but Lewis slipped, couldn't make the turn. Ball was knocked loose as he fell to the ground, caused by the ground. And Amarian Lewis is just having a struggle of an effort today, punting, throwing, and then lost his footing trying to make a big play on third down.
Yeah, and there was a lane. The defense, especially that backside, staying true, staying at home and disciplined and closing the gap and taking advantage of the slip.
Well, you can just, as we watch Lewis, he's just doing anything he can to make a big play happen every time. And things are not working out right now for Tarboro. And he's now, after a pat on the helmet from one of his offensive linemen, saying, "We need you. Hang with us here." And Lewis now retreats to kick it away. And we get a stoppage of the clock. And now we do officially get a timeout taken by Tarboro. So timeout ahead of a punt by Tarboro. 14-0 Mount Airy. Early third quarter from Raleigh.
North Carolina, with over 40 locations.
All right, Tarboro facing a 4th and 10 on to punt it away. Just call a timeout. We'll show you why here in a second. And back to live play, and there's Amarian Lewis, the quarterback for Tarboro, who doubles as a linebacker and a punter. And pressure coming again. It is blocked into the sideline by Mount Airy. They nearly got there in the first half. They get there this time. DJ Joyce and Caleb Reed collaborate on the biggest special teams play of the championship.
Penetration on the outside. And a good job from Reed coming off the left side, and over on the right side, DJ Joyce, the freshman, made a huge play on the defensive side, even a bigger one on special teams. Block up. What a play, and how about his potential in this program? Only a freshman.
DJ Joyce just got the right hand on it. And again, a near block in the first half when Amari Lewis was just trying to get the football off of his foot. And the defense quick off of the edges on special teams. First down inside the red zone for the Granite Bears. The defense sees control and may have just done it. Muscling to the end zone. Tyler Mason knocked out at the 1.
Yeah, the special teams play, and then your offense can feel. Look at the blocking up front. Just great job road grading, and Mason getting right there for Vikings, pulling them back. But now an opportunity on the 1 yard line to punch it in.
You just get the sense right now, Miss Mount Airy squad feels like they can close this game out right here.
They feel like this is it, especially with the way their defense is playing.
First and goal from the 1. Gallimore gives one more time. Mason into the end zone for the 3rd time in the title game. Touchdown, Mount Airy. And they have snatched control of this 1A title game from the 2-time defending champs.
14 carries, 71 yards, and 3 touchdowns so far for Mason. Just love the running style. How strong he is, how he finishes it off. Has the feel, letting the offensive line clear the path. And right now, 2 block punts, they're taking advantage of it. Their offense is rolling, their defense is doing the job.
Extra point is missed. And what do they say at Mission Control from NASA? Mount Airy, all systems go. Up 20-0 on Tarboro. Now there's a look at J.K. Atkins, hired in May of 2018, replacing Kelly Holder, who spent 19 years leading this Mount Airy program. He's on the staff as the wide receivers coach, along with Kelly's son, Logan. I mean, it's a family affair. The branches of the family tree spring wide here for Mount Airy, and they're up 20-0 for the 1A title. Squib kick picked up by Tarboro, and looking for a return, and Dozier is pushed out of bounds around just short of the 30. Well, this Tarboro team sputtering, but the reason is the defense and the special teams now of Mount Airy. 2 official punt blocks. One was a nick, and the last one was a legitimate full-fledged punt block by DJ Joyce. And it's a 20-point deficit facing Tarboro. Another Viking kind of hobbles off to the sideline ahead of this first down play. And things have to start right now for Tarboro. Quick handoff to the edge, and not a lot. A hard wrestling tackle out of bounds by Tyler Mason. He's everywhere, isn't he?
Yeah, well, and I just love how these guys play both ways. Each team has multiple guys playing offense and defense, and Mason's the star on the ground, and now he's playing over his linebacker position. Same thing with quarterback Ian Gallimore. I mean, these guys are smart players, but they want to be out in the field helping their team.
Pickup of 4. It was a bruising 4-yard pickup for the freshman McDowell. And markers again. This will force Tarboro back. And again, they have not been in sync since the opening kickoff, to be frank.
And this is an area, like, you just have to clean up the penalties, the mistakes, and give yourself a chance. And that's the frustrating part for Tarboro. These mistakes are just compounding and adding up.
Prior to the snap, on start.
The second announcement was right. There we go. It's a little cold down there. I mean, this is an unrecognizable Tarboro Viking team to Jeff Craddock right now. Hoping that they show up. But again, the reason that they're looking so fallible today is just this outstanding, comprehensive effort by Mount Airy on all sides of the football. Straight ahead carry to about the 29. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 9. Now, when we talked with J.K. Atkins early in the week, we asked him about kind of what was the biggest question mark of your team coming in, and he said, strangely enough, it was the defense.
Right.
He said we had a really good defense last year. We had 3 senior linebackers. They all graduated. We weren't sure who was going to fill one of the 3 spots, let alone all 3. But guys have stepped up. Gallimore stepped up. Reed, Burrow has stepped up, and they've had some help as well. The front 4 have been outstanding again today. Getting to the edge for one of the few times and nosing for McDowell Moore, but he's going to be a couple of yards short. Jay, I'm not surprised here if Tarboro goes for a 4th down.
Yeah, and you may have to take some chances and risks. Looked like he maybe could have gotten to the outside, but a nice job, again, hustling on the backside, the defense, multiple guys coming over to make the tackle.
Here's all we need to know. Early 3rd quarter, the 2-time defending champs are down by 20. They have 3 first downs all game, 4th down, your own territory, and here they go. They need 2. Under center Lewis, handoff, cutback, and the freshman McDowell Moore makes a man miss, and a very critical 1st down pickup for the Vikings.
That was huge, and you can see the talent. Just a little bit of a crease. Watch McDowell Moore, how quick he is. One cut, make a man miss, run through it, boom. Make another guy fall, and you get to midfield.
Well, that was Gallimore who just missed the tackle that would have stopped him short. And now let's see if that frees up the Vikings. Yeah, a little bit as Lewis tumbles ahead to on the 40-yard line, pick up a 13. Those are the 2 biggest offensive plays back-to-back all day for Tarboro.
And positive signs. I mean, still a huge deficit, but this is what you want to see. Your quarterback running through tacklers.
And now we get a timeout taken by Mount Airy. I think they sense a little sea change here for the Vikings. For the first time, the Tarboro fans are on their feet, feeling good and supporting Tarboro.
It's our first timeout of half.
But to your point, Jay, we're now beginning to see, it's hard to see what wrinkles you can throw in for this type of Tarboro T offense, but we're beginning to see it. Spreading things out, a little misdirection, and a couple of different offensive looks that has kind of caught Mount Airy a little bit on their heels.
Well, all it takes is, in this running game, getting to the next level. You make one man miss, and then you can explode. And this Tarboro fan base, they've been quiet, but this is a great crowd that came to support the team, and they've just been waiting for something, anything, to get them going. And they've got a couple positive signs going here, and still, I mean, plenty of time in this game, and Tarboro has been fantastic on offense. Not today, but throughout the season. They know how quickly they can score.
So College Foundation, North Carolina 1st down, helping you plan, apply, and pay for college. Official halting play, wanting to make sure that the ball is set, teams are ready, no more subs. Now the play clock kicks down from the 40-yard line in Mount Airy territory. Lewis, a little slow handoff, and this is Satterfield up the left side, and takes it down to the 21. There's life in the lungs right now. Tarboro all of a sudden.
Watch this play fake. The counter, Lewis kind of just bent the knees, hesitated, and then hands the ball off to Satterfield. Now a 6-carry explosive run. Tarboro looks good on the drive.
They had 3 first downs in the first half. Tarboro has 3 on this drive. First down after an 18-yard pickup and a big hit against McDowell Moore. And he ran into a wall.
That was the same play as the counter, just to the opposite side. There was no fake out though. Look at that shot,
and that's the
from Gallimore. What a player.
No gain.
He can feel it.
Well, good thing he's a left-handed quarterback. He's feeling that right shoulder.
He knows to hit with that right shoulder to keep the left one.
Second down, toss. McDowell Moore can't get the corner. Still on his feet, though. Tough to bring down. Lasting hit from Mount Airy's DJ Joyce.
Well, I'll tell you, kind of a hidden aspect of this game is the perimeter blocking and also the defensive backs shedding the blocks on the outside. And Mount Airy, for the most part, has been so good today, just being physical, getting off those blocks, because it's tough to make a tackle out in space.
3rd down and 8 from the 20. Lewis will throw into double coverage. Incomplete. Trying to catch him by surprise, looking for Isaiah Jones in the right third of that end zone. Well, 4th down. The play call to me is a little questionable. I mean, yeah, you might catch him by surprise, but now you need to score, and it's 4th down, and 4th and 8 is a big chunk against this defense.
Well, and that's the thing. If you're going to throw it there, you're expecting to score a touchdown, because now if you don't complete it, this is a tough situation. I'd expect Tarboro to go back to their counter play and try to get the ball to the wide side of the field, not to the numbers.
Play of the game for Tarboro. 4th down. Lewis is going to throw again. Stepping through in traffic, down for a loss. Landon Cox right in the middle of it. And despite the best offensive drive of the championship from Tarboro, converting on 4th down once, they could not convert on 4th again, and they turn it over on downs inside the red zone.
DJ Joyce came out on the edge along with Caleb Reed to get the penetration. Landon Cox, the senior, who's so good playing center over on the defensive side, cleans it up and stays right out on the field.
Well, there was a loss that pushes it to the 25-yard line, which is where this Mount Airy drive begins. 5:48 left, 3rd quarter. Gallimore hands it off. Straight up the middle for maybe 1.
You know, Patrick, I'll tell you though, for Tarboro, you saw something on offense though. At least you had some positive signs that you could move the ball. Now you're going to have to give your offense the ball back, and this defense is going to be important to get off the field.
You saw signs, yes. Mount Airy's defense stepped up again. The problem is the way this game has been flowing along, you might have 3 possessions left.
Yeah.
You now need to score on all 3.
That really might be it. I mean, you're going to have to execute and score touchdowns, because Mount Airy's going to eat up this clock.
Toss, Mason. Close to the 1st down. Might be a little bit short. Well, he's been impressive on both sides of the ball.
He's getting college recruiting attention. Campbell in on him. More offers on the way after this performance today.
As a matter of fact, J.K. Atkins told us earlier in the week that Mason, he wanted to be a wide receiver. He was small as a freshman, only about 160. He's up to about 190 now. But now he is viewed as one of the better backs that they've had in this program now. But he finally agreed, okay, coach, wide receivers maybe not for me. Get a little more offensive touches and focus in the backfield.
Appalachian State in on him as well.
It's 3rd and a short 2. And the play clock has expired. Did they get a timeout before the flag was dropped? Oh, that's a big
delay on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
One of the few mistakes Mount Airy has made today. Because now it's 4th and 7. You don't pick up the 1st down, you lose an opportunity to take maybe this 3rd quarter down to the to triple zeros. You need to convert 3rd and 7. The important defensive play for Tarboro. They all will be on 3rd down. Gallimore out of the gun. He'll throw across the middle. Trouble! It's picked off! And it's picked off by Omarion Lewis. Zigzagging forward inside the 20. Atonement for Lewis on the first turnover of the championship by Mount Airy.
What instincts from Lewis. They baited this interception. Lewis was playing center field, cover 1 defense. He's a single high safety. Read the eyes and then jumps in the passing lane. And this was huge, getting the yards after the interception to get inside of the 20-yard line. At the range, he was over on the other side of the logo, the Wolfpack head, comes across to the hash, and then gets it in great field position for the offense.
The range and the hands on the sprint to bring it in, and now a handoff on 1st down. Good for about 5 from McDowell Moore. I don't want to go inside the coach's head here, Jay, but if there's no delay of game on 3rd and 2, that is not the play call.
Great point, Patrick. That was an error that they're going to have to discuss over on the sideline, because that affected the play.
And McDowell Moore takes it inside the 10. He's going to be close to a 1st down. Might be about a half-yard short.
And again, you've got a 20-point lead, but these miscues, you miss the extra point, You have that penalty, and it adds up, and it builds to the Tarboro side if they can make a comeback.
There's a growing crescendo on the Tarboro sideline and with their fan base who made the trip over from Tarboro. 3rd and 1, Satterfield cuts it back. 1st down and more, stretches to the goal line, touchdown! Tarboro, late 3rd quarter on the board. After the interception by Lewis, the payoff by Mason Satterfield, and the 2-time defending champs aren't done yet.
And you just feel the offensive line coming alive. Look at the blocking up front. Nice job sealing it off, and then the finish. And the ball did get across the goal line before it fell out. Good call. That was a touchdown. It crossed the plane.
Yeah.
Mount Airy's side doesn't like it.
That's the reaction.
Tarboro's does, though.
You see the ball rolling through the end zone, but you're right. They got to cross the plane. That's all it needs to do. And the extra point by Craddock is in. And with 3:52 left in the 3rd, Mount Airy 20, Tarboro 7.
Here we go. Tarboro's back in it. And it just feels different now. Their offense on the previous possession, they got the ball inside the 20. They didn't score, but then your defense helps out, makes a play, and then you capitalize. Still plenty of time. You're inching closer in the ball game.
21st touchdown by Satterfield. With more on this outstanding sophomore, let's go down to Sam.
Outstanding sophomore and the youth movement, Mason Satterfield and Cameron McDowell Moore. We've seen a heavy dose of them all game long, but particularly they're starting to get better in this second half. I talked to Mason before this game, and he told me that Cam and I believe we are the best running back duo in the nation. A lot of confidence between those two guys. He says, we don't care who gets more carries. One carries, then the other blocks. It's that simple. Also, Jeff Craddock mentioned the biggest difference between those two guys. Cam has a quicker burst, similar to what Todd Gurley had back in 2010 here at Tarboro, and Mason is stronger. Those things are starting to pick up here in the second half.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. I did joke with Coach Craddock earlier in the week about that comment made by Satterfield, by the best running back duo in the nation. And after I got it out of my mouth, Craddock just started laughing. It's like, yeah, it's a little exuberance of youth. They are very confident in their abilities, and they will be churning up yards, thousands of yards over the next few years in the Tarboro backfield. 20-7, Mount Airy. 3:52 left, 3rd quarter. Craddock will kick it deep. And on a hop, returnable for the Granite Bears. And not a lot on the return. And the drive will begin around the 23-yard line. Connor Burrell, short return. Now, there was at least some fan questioning / controversy on that touchdown carry. Did the ball cross the plane before it came loose? It looked like it did cross the plane first. We'll try and get you one more look on that just for clarification's sake. Three minutes, 45 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Kind of reply what we see now from Mount Airy. They've been in charge all game long until about the last 3 minutes. Toss, Mason. Room on the left. Slowed down and finally taken down. So maybe 4 for Mason, a play that looked like it had big yardage in front of him.
Nice play fake up the middle. Triple option, so tough to defend. An outstanding block on the outside from Fonville, number 1. Now it's all about 2nd and 3rd down for this Tarboro defense. They've been loading the box up, playing 9 inside to try to slow down Mason.
It's a really nice play by Shermadra Clark, fending off that block, scraped it off and making the tackle. They limited the gain to 4, 2nd down. This is Reed, sneaks through, up the sideline and then thrown down. 1st down yardage for Caleb Reed. No penalty marker came in at the end of that tackle.
And Logan Fonville, number 1, with a nice block again to seal off the edge and allow Reed to get to the outside.
43-yard line. And another College Foundation of North Carolina 1st down, helping you plan, apply, and pay for college.
Reed, the leading tackler on the defensive end, 8 on that side of the ball now, starting to get fed the ball on the drive.
Mason again. Sprints off the left, close to midfield. Pick up 5.
Now this is what you want. Just keep that Tarboro offense over on the sideline. Slow down this game, use this clock, and gain control back running the football.
Under 2.5 to play in the third. Mount Airy with the football and a 13-point lead. In motion is Revels. And the play clock still had 7 seconds left. Might have been a little motion on the offensive line, though. Penalty really hamstrung that last drive for Mount Airy.
Dead ball. Illegal procedure on offense.
Back to Granite Bears 5 yards. Now we're seeing kind of a blue-collar drive here by Mount Airy to try and regain momentum and poise. For J.K. Atkins, the head coach for Mount Airy, he grew up in West Virginia, grew up in Beckley, then moved to Morgantown. Said, I'm just from a blue-collar family. My dad has worked in the same job as a machinist since 1984. Shanda, his wife, 5 kids, and this is just style of existence, blue-collar style. We see that on the sideline and the kind of style of play from Mount Airy.
Positive run. The offensive line pulling up front. Key block by Jonah Baloo, the senior. Now 3rd down. Can you get off the field if you're Tarboro? This is critical to stop this drive. We'll see how they line it up. They played their best when they brought the blitz. Bring the extra defender down.
Mount Airy 2 of 6 on 3rd down today. 3rd down and 5. And here's the give. Reed, they recognize it, and Tarboro stuffs it out. And there's a marker down. Sherrod made the tackle. Melvin Sherrod, we saw him go down with an injury, which looked to be a pretty serious injury in the first half. And the preliminary signal is going to be procedure against Mount Airy, and Jeff Craddock's going to decline this. No, it's going to be 4th down, and Tarboro's going to get the football back, forcing a punt.
5 men in the backfield on the offense. That penalty's been declined. 4th down.
So it will be 4th down. And Jay beginning to see some faults of nerves for a state title. The team up by 3, now only 2 scores.
They look like they were going to cruise once it was 20-0, and now Tarboro kind of flipping the script here. They've been positive here the past couple drives. They get off the field now with an opportunity to get the ball back to their offense.
And it is 4th down and 3, and there's a little bit of indecisiveness from Tarboro because it didn't look like Mount Airy was going to be kicking it away. So the defense was rapidly kind of adjusting around, filling some open areas. We get a timeout taken by Tarboro.
I'm surprised here that they're going out there with their offense, but they could have just been trying to get Tarboro to jump offside, and then also if you use the play clock and you have to delay a game, you've got an outstanding kicker in Walker Stroop that you can kick and pin Tarboro back with.
Or one other thing I'm thinking here, did you just fake not punting in order to force Tarboro to burn a timeout?
That's what I think, yeah. I think they got him out there to put the pressure on him, and now they burned that timeout, which Tarboro needs.
Now coming up at the conclusion of this championship, we'll be selecting the West Shore Home Player of the Game. West Shore Home bringing happiness to every home. So now it does look like they're going to go into punt formation because Strop has come off the sideline ready to take a deep snap. He was not there before that last snap, so whether that was just a ploy to force Tarboro to maybe make a mistake and jump or burn a timeout, it worked. Backing up to retrieve the punt is Dozier. He's had some nice returns. And no pressure at all by Tarboro. And here's the kick. It's off the side of the foot. Not a good one. But will take a Mount Airy bounce. And will roll about 12 or 13 more yards. Stopped at the 13-yard line. That's where it is down. And with 1 minute left in the third quarter, football back to Tarboro and Amarian Lewis trailing 20-7.
Well, we've talked about the offensive line early on the first half, not getting movement up front. The past 2 drives they have, and you can just tell the confidence in that group has been growing, more momentum on Tarboro's side, and they've been using the counter play. That's been their key play to get those big runs. I expect them to run it on this drive.
Well, the one thing we have not seen Tarboro do is put together a long, sustained offensive drive. That's what it will take here. It starts at the 12. A minute left in the third. And Lewis under center. And a toss to the right. The speedy freshman, McDowell Moore, spins around, gets beyond the 15. We'll mark him at the 17 with forward progress. Very good first down yardage for Tarboro.
And that could have been a bigger run. DJ Joyce, the freshman, who's come in for Derek Dandy, has been huge today. Watch number 22 keep the outside arm free, and force McDowell Moore back inside. And again, got positive yards, but the outside was wide open.
Quick handoff here is a counter play. This will be enough for first down. There's some churning second effort yards for Tarboro. The 26-yard line, first down carry there once again by McDowell Moore. He doesn't look 14, does he?
He's special. I mean, just project how good he's going to be throughout his career.
And now instead of letting the clock run down to end of the third quarter, Tarboro needs to maximize every second they can. Good play here. Satterfield, shot down around the 30-yard line just as that play was about to break into the open field.
I like how Tarboro moving quicker, though. They feel the urgency to speed to the line of scrimmage.
And that will draw the third quarter to a close. A little bit of life for Tarboro, but still a fairly large mountain to climb, and to make it 3 straight state titles. Is there magic left for Jeff Craddock's Vikings? Mount Airy after 3, leading 20-7. Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, site of the 1A State Football Championships. The Mount Airy Granite Bears are 12 minutes away from destiny. Second down carry for Tarboro, trailing by 13 to about the 32-yard line. The carry by the freshman Cameron McDowell Moore. And it's third down now for Tarboro, and you see correctly on your screen, only one timeout for the Vikings. They burned one early in the third quarter, one late in the third quarter. That might come back to haunt him. Third down. And McDowell Moore spun around. And to about the 35. And that's going to be about a yard short, and brings up the third fourth down play we've seen from Tarboro in the last 2 possessions.
And you've got to go for it. Ian Gallimore with the initial hit. Watch 15 at the top of the screen right there with the lick. And then his teammates come over to help out.
What a great surge, though, by McDowell Moore to get even that close to first down.
Yeah, good effort. 9 tackles for Gallimore, the quarterback.
Vikings need a yard. The keeper. And surging forward for the first down is Lewis. He caught the defensive line a little bit flat-footed. Big first down. Drive continues.
Lewis is a big kid. He's 6'3", almost 190 pounds. Jeff Craddock talked with us about his potential at the college level. He's going to be a safety. And schools are looking at him on the defensive side, but he's showing his leadership. That's a tough play in a moment where you have to have it. He just jumped right over the pile.
Hardee's first down, brought to you by Hardee's. Breakfast just got better. Hardee's new Super Biscuits are now available until noon on weekends. Loss of a yard there, and potential loss of one of the key backs for Tarboro. Satterfield's on the sideline. With more on that, here's Sam.
Just a moment ago, Satterfield was getting worked out with his left leg, laying down. He's now up, walking around, as you can see, but he is not out there for this drive at the moment, and was drinking a lot of fluids as well to try and stay locked in.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. I saw him hobble off the field a couple plays earlier. Maybe a cramp issue with Satterfield. Second down, toss to the right side into the open field. And beyond the 40, so about the 42. And that's, again, McDowell Moore, and we'll bring up third down and 6 for Tarboro. A couple of minutes have gone by already in this fourth quarter.
And I like that play call, though, with the pitch to get the ball outside. Allow McDowell Moore to go to work. Now, again, you've got 2 downs to pick up this 6 yards. That's in the back of your mind if you're Tarboro.
Number 24, Satterfield, is back on the field. Line of reach is the 48. on the Tarboro side of the field. Lewis, quick give. And that's going to be a couple of yards short, and it brings up yet another 4th down for Tarboro. Tremaine McDaniels on the carry. So with the cramping issue of Satterfield, which has now been confirmed, you see more of a decoy out here on 4th down. You put it in the hands of the freshman. You need 2. Toss, McDowell Moore sprints to the outside, moves forward, and gets tackled forward enough for a 1st down. It looked like the pursuit was there. They almost had him wrapped up.
Initially, it looked like it was going to be easy. Look at Caleb Reed just fighting to the outside. Gallimore comes from the backside. But it was just that initial push, surge, and then the tough running ability of McDowell Moore to get just enough.
Another Hardy's 1st down from almost midfield. And 1st down carriage, once again, tumbling beyond the 50. McDowell Moore for a couple.
This is a tough offense to prepare for. I mean, these defenders are having to look at these ball carriers with the fakes of Lewis and the counter plays, different guys looking like they're going to get it, but they've been disciplined, had good technique for the most part. Been at the right position all day.
Clock stopped at 8:20, and I think there's just an injured player going off the field. It's McDowell Moore. So the freshman running back is now to the sideline. Now, if you're Mount Airy, this is almost like prevent defense against the Tarboro team. As long as you don't give up the big play, you just force Tarboro to go 12 more plays down the field, take up time, because you're up by a couple of scores. 2nd down carry for a couple of yards to the 45 of Mount Airy. But again, this is going to take off 30 seconds off the clock.
And you said it perfectly. I mean, of course, you want to get a stop here. It's tough, though, because you know Tarboro is going to go for it on 4 downs. So you've got 4 downs to not allow 10 yards. But this is working into your hands. I mean, this clock, there's not much. This is it. This is the last ball game of the year. State championship on the line, and Mount Airy's forcing Tarboro to churn things up in the last game.
Tackle for a loss against McDaniels, and that's going to bring up 4th down. And the Granite Bear fans can sense it.
Cameron Webster, number 59, the surge, beats the block up front. Watch him on the left side, go inside, then beat another man to make the play. That is so tough. Good recognition, physical once he made contact.
Because the issue right now for Tarboro is Satterfield dealing with cramps. McDowell Moore was off the field the first couple plays. He's back on now. It's 4th down, and it's everything here for the Tarboro Vikings to try and win a 3rd straight state title. A botch snap. The ball comes loose, but whistles before, I believe. Mount Airy thought they forced a loose football, and Tarboro had called a timeout just before the snap. Goodness. So a 4th down moment for the Vikings. On edge when we come back. Well, the dynasty for Tarboro is on the line right now. This is a 4th down and 5 situation for the Vikings. 80-3 in their last 83 games. That includes 4 state titles. They're down by 13 midway through the 4th. 4th down, they toss. This is McDowell Moore dancing, moving forward, evades, spins, and converts the 1st down. Those are freshman maneuvers. Who's holding the joystick?
Wow, watch this. Just watch. That's special talent. I mean, it was not there. The game was going to be over if he doesn't pick that up. He made 3 or 4 cuts there that NFL guys, we don't see them make.
Knocked down after a short yardage gain there. Tarboro, prior to that botched snap, used its final timeout. Saved the opportunity to win the game, though. And McDowell Moore with just a phenomenal conversion, 4th down. But again, the odds are not in their favor right now. Some Channel One Best Hunger Games impersonation. Here's McDowell Moore. Kind of bangs into his own lineman, drives him forward. It's about the 32.
Ball came loose.
Ball may have come loose, and it's picked up by Mount Airy. And out of there with it, Walker Strutt. And the dynasty may be over. McDowell Moore gave it up. And Mount Airy has recovered.
Strutt with the hit. And then he recovers it.
Oh, and the anguish on the sideline for Cameron McDowell Moore, who has won over so many fans in this game for a 14-year-old freshman. I don't know if Tarboro would be here without him, but he's being consoled on the sideline. 5:58 left, fourth quarter. Mount Airy forcing a turnover with a 13-point lead on their way to a state title. Midway through the fourth quarter, Mount Airy has just forced the second Tarboro turnover of the game, and it might be the end of it for Tarboro's reign. 20-7, Mount Airy. First down from the 32-yard line. The Vikings are also out of timeouts. So it's all about ball protection here for Mount Airy. Big run on first down. This is Tyler Mason, of course, inside Viking territory. So on the 45, that's 23 more for Mason.
An outstanding block. I've called his name a couple times. Logan Fonville, number 1, helped spring Mason. Watch number 1 here, just fighting downfield to clear another lane. This offense has been working so well. Look at the offensive line up front. They seal off the edge and allow Mason, who's so athletic, to get to the edges. He's been able to do it all game long.
Under 5.5 to play. Gallimore for a couple. And again, Tarboro helpless to stop the clock.
If you're a Viking, you're doing whatever you can to strip the ball, give your offense a chance, create a turnover. And this is tough because you know over on the other side, if you're carrying the ball, you're holding with 2 hands. And if you feel somebody holding you up, you're just trying to get to the ground. You do not want to give the ball up to this defense.
And now we'll see Gallimore and his mathematical skills with the play clock right in front of him. And the facing of the back of the end zone, working down the clock, inching Mount Airy to a title. Second down. Ball snap with 5 on the play clock. Toss. And again, Mason pushed out of bounds. Late marker comes in. And this might be a hole on Mount Airy. And it is. Well, we talked about the tradition over the years because, Jay, you and I have called a lot of the Tarboro State Championship games. There's a huge sense of community pride with Mount Airy and its storied program. Again, Mount Airy has won 7 state championships. The first one prior to the Second World War in 1935. Their last was in 2008 over Williamston. But there was a business associate in Mount Airy that paid for all the tickets for the community, for all their fans, not just last week in the regional final, but today as well. And these are kids who are the sons of kids, the nephews of uncles, the sons of grandparents who have all come through the Mount Airy program. And their dreams over the years are to have the MA on the helmet. That's one of the things that Jeff Atkins told us. It was such a point of community pride for Mount Airy. And there's a handful of stats from restoring more community pride with another state championship trophy.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts of covering these games, just seeing the impact these teams have on everybody and how these fan bases come out and support. When we got here today, each team had fans tailgating before the game. I mean, it was just a really cool experience to see everybody coming together. And this is like a college game here at NC State with both fan bases coming out.
All right, 13 seconds on the play clock. This is third and about 14. And again, Gallimore's going to take his time. There's no chance this ball's going through the air, right? Handoff up the middle, big yardage, and first down yardage, and state title yardage for Tyler Mason. On a 3rd and 16, Mason blitzes through the defense and ankle tackles for almost 20. And that is going to shut the door on Tarboro's reign.
Well, he's been so good today, and I just love the style of his game, the way he runs through contact. Only a junior. Just think about the momentum this season, this ball game, what he's been able to do, how he's going to carry that into next year.
And good for another Hardee's first down. Breakfast just got better. Hardee's new Super Biscuits are now available at noon on weekends. And we get a stoppage in play, and a timeout has been taken by Mount Airy. And let's go to our West Shore Home player of the game, brought to you by West Shore Home. And Jay, it's going to be Tyler Mason.
Yeah, 21 carries, 131 yards, and the first of his 3 touchdowns. Special teams, he was making plays. He's so good when the ball's in his hands. His team trusts him. So much confidence with his game. Down near the goal line, showed us his power. And when his team needed him to take over and control the clock, control the line of scrimmage, he did it. I mean, he had a special game today and been a big part of why Mount Airy's going to win.
And he needs 9 more yards to finish with 2,300 this season. He has 49 touchdowns, including 3 in this state championship game. With more on the community aspect of Mount Airy, we were talking about a moment ago. Let's go downstairs to Sam.
Yeah, you can add on that with Ian Gallimore. His mother, Abby, is the athletic director at Mount Airy, and Ian's dad coached Ian at the middle school level, and they just spoke Ian spoke very highly of the community around Mount Airy. He said, growing up playing football here, you idolize these varsity players, and here he is a couple of minutes away from the state title.
First down carry to about the 25-yard line. It's Caleb Reed. You know, every level of high school football in the state of North Carolina has something unique and something romantic to it, right? You got the 4A, it's all the big schools and the huge visibility and exposure. For 1A, it's all about those small towns knitted together by a few thousand fans, maybe 100, 150 roaming your classrooms and your hallways. But again, it's that connection for the small towns. This is what they live for. These Friday nights in the fall, and hopefully a Saturday in December. Couple of yards, brings up 3rd down.
You just think about these kids too. How fun is school going to be on Monday? I mean, it's going to be good to be a football player. I would wear my jersey to school on Monday.
I mean, Gallimore's mom is the AD for crying out loud. They may just cancel classes and celebrate because they will. They're about to.
No, they're not going to wait till Monday to have fun. They're going to have fun right now.
How about that?
That's great.
Inside 2 minutes.
They can feel it.
And again, for this Mount Airy squad, almost all of their skill players are underclassmen. We could see them right here again in 12 months' time. And that will be enough for a first down. And now Mount Airy sideline starts to celebrate. Let's get to our West Shore Home play of the game. A big one, special teams for Mount Airy.
Yeah, block kick coming off the edge. The freshman. It was DJ Joyce. He's had a big game. This was a critical point in the ball game to set up the offense with field position. And that's what really put Mount Airy in the driver's seat.
And there's the man, DJ Joyce. What a huge spoke in the wheel he has been for Mount Airy in this one. It's just going to take perhaps only one more snap. The kneel down by Gallimore. They will need to snap it one more time. And then the party starts at Mount Airy. Jr. One more hug before he goes under center to take one last snap. The game clock is down to 15. The snap they will remember for ages for Mount Airy. The right knee down by Gallimore flings the football to the moon. And the dynasty is done for Tarboro. Mount Airy with its 8th school state title and its first in 14 years. A 20-7 victory for Mount Airy over Tarboro.
Gets the final snap. Patrick had 14 tackles on the day playing defense. He was huge. So many pieces of this team really played their best today. And, they have so much emotion, all the work they put in this year to culminate in Raleigh at NC State. You get a trophy, and that's why it's so tough on the other side for Tarboro, because they wanted it. It just wasn't their day, but credit both these teams on a great year.
When the reign began for Tarboro 5 years ago, it was a 32-7 bashing of this Mount Airy team. Nobody from that Granite Bear program remains on the field, but they exercised the demons today, and make no mistake, it was a dominant performance by Mount Airy. They did not back into a title. This is a comprehensive, undisputed victory for Mount Airy over Tarboro. And the handshake line in midfield. So the Vikings finished 13-2, just their 4th loss in 6 years. And Mount Airy caps a stunning state championship, 15-1. Sam Hyman now down with a championship head coach, J.K. Atkins.
A very happy Coach Atkins. 2017, Coach, your team played in this state championship game and lost to Tarboro. You avenged that loss tonight in impressive fashion. How did your team get it done here this evening?
I thought we got it done with guts, to be honest with you. I mean, they did a great job of getting after us in the third quarter, and we were sucking wind a little bit. And our guys dug deep. We had some guys playing through some injuries. A lot of freaking guts, to be honest with you.
Dedrick Dandy goes down early in the game, but DJ Joyce steps in. What type of performance did he show you out there on the field?
Listen, we had 2 freshmen that started up front defensive line. Well, didn't start, but DJ played the whole game pretty much. And, you just never know. You got to be ready. I thought those two kids did a tremendous job. And, man, it was so fun to watch that. That was great.
How does this moment feel for the Mount Airy community?
This is big. This is something that will be talked about for a long time. I'm so happy for our school, for our community, but most of all for those players and coaches. That's a special moment that these guys will remember for years to come.
Soak it in, Coach. Congratulations to you and your team.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Patrick, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Sam. One guy who walked the hallways at Mount Airy High School, Andy Griffin. And he is remembered there. J.K. Atkins has just cemented his history in just year number 5 on the sidelines for Mount Airy as the Granite Bears knock off the 2-time defending champs and win their 8th state championship. Mount Airy 20, Tarboro 7. We'll come back with a trophy presentation next. Well, this afternoon, early evening in December of 2022 will go down in history for Mount Airy, the players, the staff, the fans, the community. Knocking out Tarboro 20-7. Patrick Heenis, Jay Sonehalt up here in the booth. What's your takeaway? What's the party going to be like in Mount Airy, Jay?
Well, it's probably going to start here. It may not go to Mount Airy quite yet. They're going to celebrate in Raleigh for a while, maybe even stay here tonight. But what a fun moment for everybody involved with the program, the community, and for Tarboro on the other side. What a great year they've had. They will be back, and both these teams are young and have bright futures.
But what we saw from J.K. Atkins and Mount Airy, Tyler Mason, the standout. The defense was absolutely 5-star, top-notch. Ian Gallimore, who's just supposed to direct the offense, not make any mistakes, played almost a mistake-free game today. And They did the rest. Special teams was outstanding. 20-7 victory for Mount Airy, and there's their banner for the first time in 14 years. And for J.K. Atkins, remember, he started his high school coaching career when he was a college student at Watauga. This is the first time he's ever had a chance to be a head coach in a state title game. And what emotions must he be feeling when he's on that bus ride back? What an accomplishment, and a whole lot more forthcoming for him.
Well, this whole week, the build-up to this ball game, you go through the playoffs, you get to the final stage of it, and all the preparation, and then it pays off.
Yeah. Father of 5, family is here, West Virginia native. All he ever wanted to do was coach high school football. And how about that embrace with his quarterback, Ian Gallimore? Might need some Scotch tape or duct tape for that banner. That was an aggressive takeaway by Gallimore. And as we mentioned with this Mount Airy squad, skilled players, a lot of linemen, a lot on the defensive side because they played both ways, juniors or younger. And we saw many of them step forward, and DJ Joyce was one of that crew. And also capping a tremendous year with 49 touchdowns, junior running back Tyler Mason. And now the Tarboro Vikings receive their hardware for just another campaign, right? Every year you pay taxes. Every year Tarboro plays for a state title. Nothing to hang your head about with the Tarboro Vikings and their program and their effort. They were outmatched today across the board by this Mount Airy squad, but it's rare.
Well, amazing group, 13-2 on the year with only 12 seniors. I mean, this is a group, when we talk about underclassmen, this is freshmen and sophomore. I mean, it's not like they're loaded with juniors as well. This is a group that will be back, and this experience this season will really help them this offseason. It's two dominant programs that, year in, year out, they do it the right way. They win big, and they win state championships, and this year, it's Mount Airy's turn.
All right, well, let's join the public address announcer here at Carter Finley Stadium for some live sound as the celebration and the trophy presentation on the field continues for the state champion Mount Airy Granite Bears.
The Outstanding Offensive Player Award goes to number 25, Caleb Reed. Ladies and gentlemen, there were many outstanding individual performances in today's NCHSAA State Championship. However, one stood out, and this individual was selected by a panel of media covering today's game as the championship's most valuable player. The most valuable player for this NCHSAA State Championship is from Mount Airy, Tyler Mason. Thank you for attending this year's NCHSAA Football Championships. We ask for your assistance in picking up any trash in your seating area.
20-7 the final. One last everlasting photo op for those three outstanding Mount Airy Granite Bears. A return to glory for Mount Airy. First championship in 14 years. Congratulations to them. Well, all of us would like to take a minute to thank all the great folks at the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and these broadcast sponsor partners. West Shore Home, North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, College Foundation of North Carolina, Hardee's, Talk It Out NC, NC 529, and Ingalls Markets. All these sponsor partners, through their contributions to the program, make all of these championship games possible for our viewers at home. Again, your final score in the 1A state title game. Mount Airy knocks off the two-time defending champions Tarboro Vikings by a final score of 20-7. For Sam Hyman on the field, Jay Stonehalter, my partner up here in the booth, and our entire crew, Patrick Keenis saying enjoy the rest of your weekend. Congratulations, the 1A champion, Mount Airy Granite Bears, 20-7 victories over the Tarboro Vikings. Good night from Rob.
Work so hard just to make this show. Under the lights, it's time to shine.